Are you going crazy in a blue state lockdown? Some blue state leaders are saying your lockdown could last another year. More lawsuits are being filed by business owners who are ready to get back to work, and CNN's Chris Cuomo's latest attempt to slam President Trump fails in a big way. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
God bless the United States of America.
All right, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great week. Thanks for joining us on the 13-minute news hour. We're going to start with blue state lockdowns and how people are going crazy and how the governors, these leaders, and some city leaders aren't listening. So we've got these lockdowns, these unconstitutional lockdowns, and I'll get into that portion of it later in the show. But we did it. We did these lockdowns. Everyone sheltered in place. They quarantined. And why? Because we were told that the whole object was to flatten the curve, and that the only way to do it was to go this route, to shut down the economy, to have everybody social distance, basically stay at home, no bars, no restaurants, nothing like that. Now, whether you agree with that policy or not, and you know that I don't, let's just say that that was the right policy, that we all bought into it, that our goal is to flatten the curve, and the only way to do that is to stay at home, kick 36 million people out of their jobs, and so on and so on. Okay, fine. But guess what? Now, blue state leaders, Democrats, are trying to move the goalpost. Rather than flatten the curve, now they're saying that their goal is for reopening the economy won't happen until there's a vaccine. That could be a year away. So from flattening the curve, they've gone to staying shut down until there's a vaccine. And here's a report from Fox News. As most states begin to move forward with measures to reopen their economies following strict lockdowns aimed at slowing the spread of the coronavirus, some governors and big city mayors are now saying the restrictions will not fully be lifted until a vaccine or treatment for the disease is available, a timeline that could take a year or more. The leaders' comments indicate Americans could be living with orders restricting personal and economic activity for much longer than many anticipate. Much longer than they anticipate, I'll say so. The American people aren't going to stand for this, and they shouldn't stand for this. So who are these blue state governors? Let's take a look. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy was the latest of the state executives to make such comments in a press conference on Monday. You too should expect to continue with this for the foreseeable future, Murphy said of the state's coronavirus restrictions as he outlined when workers might be able to get back to their offices. Again, the left are moving the goalposts. We were all bought in to doing this to flatten the curve, and now they're trying to keep the economy down, stay in control until some vaccine appears at some point in the future. And here's more from Murphy. Until either a proven vaccine is in our midst or proven therapeutics are widely available, we cannot firmly enter the new normal. Wow. See, these are the comments that drive people crazy. Murphy went on to say, most importantly, we will continue to be guided by the principle that public health creates economic health. And if we begin to see a backslide in public health, we will have to also pull back on the reins of our restart. That makes no sense at all, folks. We cannot do this and have 36 million people out of work, businesses that have closed forever. This was not the right approach to keep a small section of the population safe. We could do that and have everybody else go on with their lives. But Murphy wasn't the only one. Then we've got Gretchen Whitmer over in Michigan, and here's what she had to say. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer said that crowds would not be able to gather for professional or college sports in her state until a vaccine is available or there's a rigorous testing regimen in place with signs of herd immunity in the population. Herd immunity? Are you kidding me? This is what we've been talking about from the beginning. Because of what we did, it's impossible to build herd immunity. Herd immunity only comes when a bunch of people get it and then they become immune. Now, when we talk about this second wave that could be coming in the winter with the flu season, we have millions and millions of people who could have gotten a virus where they had little or no symptoms at all, not even realize they had it, and built up this herd immunity. But because of people like her, we're hurting that ability to do so. But here's more from Whitmer. We need a vaccine, and we need to have mass quantities available. Or we need to be able to test and be able to acknowledge that we've got some immunity that's built up. Well, like I said, they're hurting their ability to have an immunity built up based on these policies. And then there's Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti, who was on Good Morning America on ABC, echoing these same kind of sentiments. Garcetti continued to say that his city would not be fully open until there is a vaccine available, noting that he does not plan to have a full reopening of the city's schools in the fall. We've never been fully closed, and we won't be completely open until we have a cure. But I do believe that we can take steps. All right, so you remember this guy? This is the guy that is encouraging people to rat out on their neighbors for not following social distancing.
If you've observed recurring violations of the Safer at Home order, please continue to let us know at coronavirus.lacity.org/business violation. You know the old expression about snitches? Well, in this case, snitches get rewards. We want to thank you for turning folks in and making sure we are all safe.
This is just amazing. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments about this whole movement from flattening the curve to now all of a sudden we can't do anything without a vaccine. It's absolutely ridiculous. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that like button and click subscribe and go ahead and hit that bell so we can continue growing, so we can reach 100K by election day. You guys are the best audience and I appreciate it so much. So next, we're going to talk about the unconstitutionality of all of these lockdowns because it goes against everything we stand for in America. Everything we stand for. This is the freest country in the world, which brings us tons of benefits. But it also means that we can't solve problems in a draconian Soviet-era communist China kind of way. We just can't do it. We have a constitution that acknowledges that, hey, we have the power, we have the freedoms, and we're going to grant government a limited set of powers, a limited set of responsibilities. Now coronavirus comes and the left, the media, Democrats, they all push these lockdowns, and before anyone thinks, they just jump at it. Well, it's wrong. It's not right. You cannot solve problems this way. Even if you believe that the only right way to solve this coronavirus outbreak was to lock everybody down and say that you can't work, your job is not essential, we can't do it here. Whether we wanted to or not, we cannot do it in this country. So Judge Andrew Napolitano was on Fox and Friends. He was talking about these rulings in Oregon and Wisconsin where lawsuits have come up, and they've ruled that these rules that where you can't go to church or gather are unconstitutional. And here's what he said.
Well, I've been pretty clear about this, Ainsley, that all of these lockdown orders are without lawful authority. They're unconstitutional. They violate the Bill of Rights. They interfere with our freedom of religion, our freedom of travel, our right to privacy, our freedom of speech, our freedom of assembly. I could just go right down the line.
So the judge is absolutely right. And again, this has to do with how we solve problems in America. Regardless of what you think the right solution should be, we have to approach it in a way that respects our freedoms. We can't just tell people you can't go to work. We can give advice. We can say, here's the most vulnerable. Let's protect them. We recommend social distancing. We recommend this. Then it's up to the American people to implement it. So regarding the ruling in Wisconsin about the governor abusing his power, here's what the judge said.
The law in Wisconsin says if you want to shut things down for more than 28 days, you have to get the consent of the legislature. He didn't do it. The very same thing, a very similar law in Oregon, although as we slept, the Oregon Supreme Court has put a stay on that ruling.
So that's Wisconsin and Oregon. And the judge sums things up this way regarding these lawsuits and the people who are stepping forward to protest, to speak out for their rights and their freedoms.
You can have demonstrations. You can assemble peacefully. You can travel where you want. You just need courage like Ian Smith and like the people that challenged the governors in Oregon and Wisconsin.
So what do you think? Was this price worth 36 million people out of work? Businesses that are closed down that are never coming back? Were these lockdowns worth that? And the price we're paying now, that we're seeing now, should we have done things differently? Let me know in the comments. We're going to move on to CNN's Chris Cuomo. But first, I have to tell you about my friends over at Bottle Breacher. Folks, you need to check them out. They are a made in America company, good old American values. This is the best stuff. It is man gifts, it's promotional items, it's groomsmen gifts. Just go to bottlebreacher.com, use coupon code Bobby13 for 15% off your next purchase. All right, we're going to talk about CNN's Chris Cuomo because he tried to get in a big slam against President Trump, and it failed big time. So as you know, President Trump announced that he has been taking hydroxychloroquine, and here's his announcement.
The frontline workers, many are taking it. I happen to be taking it.
Hydroxychloroquine?
I'm taking it, hydroxychloroquine.
When?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, when?
A couple of weeks ago, I started taking it. Because I think it's good. I've heard a lot of good stories. And if it's not good, I'll tell you right. I'm not going to get hurt by it.
So, of course, this put the media into a meltdown because for some reason, they are against any kind of treatment short of a vaccine that they probably want to mandate on everybody. Anything that could provide comfort or act as a preventative, they seem to be against, even though doctors have prescribed this, even though doctors have gone on TV saying, I've seen results. I didn't know what else to try. I did this, and it worked. Here's Neil Cavuto on Fox News.
If you are in a risky population here and you are taking this as a preventative treatment to ward off the virus, or in a worst case scenario, you are dealing with the virus and you are in this vulnerable population, it will kill you. I cannot stress enough. This will kill you.
What an idiot. And here's the thing. I personally know someone. I have a friend in high school whose mother, who suffered from a stroke, she got the coronavirus. She was treated with a regimen of hydroxychloroquine and the other additives, and she came out of it. It helped her. She has said that that helped her. Now, a stroke victim, an elderly person, got coronavirus and is better now because of this. She took it, but according to the media, no way. And then there's Nancy Pelosi.
As far as the president is concerned, he's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved by the scientist, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say.
Wow, talk about an insult, morbidly obese. That just came out of nowhere. But I have to admit, it cracked me up, her throwing that out there, just attacking President Trump, and I'm sure the president can handle it. He's thrown out plenty of insults in his day, and I think he can handle a comeback from Nancy Pelosi. But here's the thing, is that CNN's Chris Cuomo, he wanted to jump on that bandwagon too. He wanted to insult the president for taking hydroxychloroquine. So Cuomo put up a tweet in reference to a bunch of people gathering for a party, not social distancing. And here's what he said. No worries, they can just take some chloroquine. All right, so on his program, too, that was a tweet, but on his CNN program, he also blasted the president. He's saying hydroxychloroquine is not supported by science. That's what he said. All right, well, here's the thing. First of all, if doctors are prescribing this to patients, they have some kind of scientific reason to do it. Scientific experience, medical experience. Something tells them, hey, this works. We've seen it work. We're going to try it. And guess what? In a lot of cases, it works. If it's showing adverse effects, they just stop it. It's unreal. But here's the thing. In his effort to slam the president, he slammed himself. Because remember, he was under self-quarantine in his basement, right? He was actually taking a version of hydroxychloroquine as part of his treatment. And here's a report from the Daily Caller. Cuomo had been using a version of the anti-malarial drug in his own treatment for coronavirus, according to posts about his treatment protocol written by his wife, Christina, in her wellness magazine, The Purist. In her week 1 post, Christina Cuomo detailed all of the antivirals her husband took after he was diagnosed with COVID-19 on March 31st, one of which was potentized quinine taken 3 times daily. So you're probably wondering, what is potentized quinine? Well, the Daily Caller explains it in Chris Cuomo's wife's follow-up post. and they also add a little more background. Potentized quinine. It's derived from the non-toxic bark of Peruvian-grown quinine plants. It's a natural antibiotic. It's being used in India with very good results. This is not on the market here. Dr. Lancaster has made this in her lab for 40 years, and I took this for my Lyme. Quinine is also an anti-malarial drug. Chloroquine is its synthetic derivative. So, part of Cuomo's treatment is actually chloroquine, the natural-based version of it. Yet he decides to slam President Trump for taking the same thing that he took. That's the media for you. That's the left for you. So next, I want to talk about Joe Biden. But I have a special announcement, folks. Tune in this Saturday for our Saturday live stream. We are going to have special guest Dinesh D'Souza, conservative commentator, author, filmmaker. He's got an upcoming book, The United States of Socialism. Please check it out. Please send in your questions. Check out my Facebook page or use the Ask BE link in the description to send in video questions, and you just might make it onto the show. So next I want to talk about Sleepy Joe Biden. President Trump has hurled insults at him for forever. There's Sleepy Joe. There's Creepy Joe. Joe Biden has said, I want to resist, calling him a nickname. Well, he's not resisting anymore, and I bet he wish he did, because here comes Nancy Pelosi throwing out that Trump's morbidly obese, which again, made me chuckle a little bit. And Joe Biden now has got to be scratching his head saying, man, she says morbidly obese, and I came up with this? This is lame.
Is it incompetence? Corruption? Trump was out there tweeting again this morning. I call him President Tweety. Reopen the country, end of quote.
President Tweety? Are you kidding me with this? Look, if you can't hurl out good insults, don't do it. Don't try it. I mean, this reminds me of a part in the movie Date Night.
Hey, zip your face.
Zip my face? Are you serious?
Yeah, he said zip your face.
That's your best line? That's your best tough guy line?
You heard me.
Zip your face, President Tweety. It's about the same. And of course, Biden was roasted on social media. Here's a tweet from Megyn Kelly, who wrote, people not named Trump should really stop playing the nickname game. No one seems very good at it, and it's embarrassing. And then there's Alex Thompson over at Politico. He tweeted this, Sleepy Joe versus President Tweety. Sounds about right for 2020. And then there's Donald Trump Jr., who tweeted exactly what I was thinking when Joe Biden first said the President Tweety remark. President Tweety is exactly the type of high-quality nickname that you would expect to come from someone who uses the phrase lying dog-faced pony soldier like it's a normal thing to say. So cringeworthy. That's exactly what I thought. Here's the guy saying lying dog-faced pony soldier. He would come up with President Tweety. Sounds like something from Looney Tunes or something. So folks, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and when you do, please hit that bell so you'll be notified, and we'll see you next time. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. Okay, friends, thanks so much for watching. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified. And here's a special video just for you so you can watch even more of the 13-minute news hour. And don't forget to check out GOPUSA.com for the best in conservative news and commentary. We'll see you next time.